Ash, hello everybody. Hello, you guys. Hi, my name is Leigh Ralston, and I will be your teacher for today. It still feels weird to say that, but I am here with Michaels and Faber-Castell USA, and today's class is really super fun and easy, but I think we're going to go through a lot of supplies today. We'll talk about different materials that you can use for this project as well. And for this project, you can use it for a lot of things, really. You can use it for like card making. You can create your own scrapbook paper, and we'll show you how I would normally use it. And then, of course, like what I always say, it's up to you to play with your supplies for you to come up with other more creative projects that you can use your supplies with. But I'll head on over to my overhead camera and we'll get this class started, okay? All right, here we go. We're going to move over Mr. Moo. Okay, so I have a couple of things here in front of me. In the class description, I know I talked about that we're going to create like a coloring page today. I picked up this super cute stamp set, wooden block stamp set from Michaels last month. And I wanted to show you guys how you can create different projects with the wooden stamps. And of course, today's class is brought to you by Faber-Castell USA. So we'll be using a lot of our products, my favorite products from Faber-Castell. I do have some water brush pens here because later we're going to be coloring some of the stamps. If you don't have any watercolor markers, any watercolor pencils, if you just have regular watercolors, that will work great too. If you have crayons, as long as you have a coloring medium, that would work great. The star of this class, though, is going to be the Faber-Castell Stampers Big Brush Pens. And here we go. So I will be using the black colored here. So we have this one. And this is the $1.99. Unfortunately, this whole set is not available at Michaels, but you can purchase these individually online. Okay, and then I also have some different coloring medium here. We have the Albrecht Durer watercolor pencils, and then I also have the Gold Faber Aqua. Both of these are colored pencils, but also works as a watercolor. So it's super cool, really. And then if you have like colored pencils there, those are great too. Now let's talk about this star of the class. So the big brush pen, this is what it's called, a Stamp Big Brush Pen. I love this one. I love to use this when it comes to stamping, especially with the wooden block. Because if you have tried stamping before, you know that it can get a little messy with all the inks and all that. And sometimes it gets a little frustrating. And I do understand that, but of course, mess is part of having fun. It's called the happy mess. But I'm going to show you how quickly it is to use the big stamp brush. And if you've noticed, I have a lot of water soluble products in here, like the watercolor pencils, because these markers are waterproof. And also these are archival. So it means your work is going to last a long time. So here we go. So all you got to do, look at me, I'm just kind of like coloring this image. So when you get a wooden block, the image itself is embossed. So it just kind of sets up just a little bit like this. So we're just going to color in that just little by little. And I know I personally love to color, and sometimes I don't have a lot of time to doodle and draw from my coloring. And, and it's not always the best to have coloring books that are uncolored. So you can just stamp it like that. And so quick, fun, easy way to create your own coloring book is to get stamps like this, cute faces, different style, different, types of illustrations. And then you can create your own coloring pages in your journals like that. How fun is that? And then without the mess of the inks also. So if you're going to use it with watercolor, of course, you always have to use a watercolor paper. So I have here a watercolor paper journal, and then I also have just a journal. And how I would clean this is I would normally just have a baby wipes. So I have this baby wipes and I just like that. So stamp it in the baby wipes and you'll just clean it. See, easy, okay? And like what I said, I know that what we're gonna do today is create a coloring page, but did you know that you can also create your own treat bags like this? So I have this plain, not plain, but it's pink. But if I want to turn this into a Halloween treat bags with these stamp sets, let's see what we have in here. So we have 12 pieces in here. So with all these images, we can create your own treat bags, and it's going to be super fun. I love the spider one. Haven't used that yet. And then the word boo. So I'm going to set the others aside. Put that aside. I love the trick or treat also. Look at this. Okay. And so what you're going to do is, if you want to overlap the images to make it look like it's really part of the design, always just have a copy paper underneath, just a regular scratch paper, so you don't make a lot of mess in your table. So just here, so have something underneath, and then we're going to go stamp. So picking up my brush. And what you can do also, if you have other colors of the Stamper's big brush, you can use the other colors as well instead of just the black. And we might actually do that. Something that will pop with the pink also. So I'm just going to stamp it this way and then stamp it. Normally, I won't go over 2 because I want my lines really crisp and sharp. So I would stamp it twice and then start putting ink in there already. So that way, but let's see. It's still very sharp though, because these markers are really juicy, and that's why it's really great to use for stamping like this. So I have boo in there, and I have something in here. So when you're doing something like this, when you're creating a pattern, I think the key is to just not overthink it. I used to always just kind of like, oh, where's it next? As long as you have like the perfect amount of space in between, just go for it. So I have there, and I'll have something in here. Okay, and I think I'll do one more over there, and then we'll start using, we'll start using the spider one. Just be careful not to make a mess in your project. So kind of like if you get it in your finger, make sure to wipe it like that. Ooh, now I feel. Okay, go. Then I'll use the spider this time. If you're doing this in your journal or just a piece of copy paper, that's fine, but just kind of follow along with me. Like this. This is like a perfect treat. My kids, they always bring treats for their Halloween party. So I'd like to kind of come up with different Halloween or any season projects to bring at school. I think I have more fun than them when I'm doing this. So I have the spider. And then the fun part is that you can customize this one. I'll show you later because I love kawaii things, and spider is pretty simple and plain. So I'm going to add some cute faces in here, but I'm going to keep doing this. My spider in there. I have my spider in there. Okay. All done for this one. I'm just going to clean up the stamps so we don't make a mess. We have a treat bag already. How cute. Now, if you have like another tip marker, like a plain black, I will go with this. I'm going to use just the 1.5. So I'm just using the Kit Artist pen in black and the 1.5 tip. Might be too big, but I'm just going to add eyes in my spider like that. You guys see it? So go over here, go over there. I'm just adding faces or just eyes on the side. Then you have the option to color this in if you'd like. Or you can letter in the names of your friends. All right, so there's our treat bag. It's all done. You can use this in a paper bag as long as you can lay it flat so you can stamp. You can have a much better impression when you're stamping as long as it lays flat, and then, you know, it will look much better that way. With boxes, I think you can also, but that might be a little difficult. Now with cards, let's go ahead, and I have this white blank card in here. This is folded in the middle. With this one, if you want to create your own card, I am going to choose another color. I'm going to choose the orange and black. So the orange is 113. And I'm going to get the pumpkin. How cute that is. And then I'll do the black. I'll do the trick or treat in black. Same as usual, I have my copy paper underneath. And then I'll start with, you can create just a border if you'd like. If you're doing journaling or planning, you can use this for your planners and not worry about any bleed through. I love this pen. Okay, so we're gonna create what we kind of, a little bit mess in there. I'm gonna do what we kind of did earlier. Just kind of go create our pattern. So notice that I'm using the body of the brush itself. I'm just going to do some are overlapping on the outside like that. And then definitely this, you have the option to color these in, especially for like making cards or tags. Oops, needed more ink. And I don't worry about, you know, imperfect things like that because it just makes it really handmade, and not perfect is not bad all the time. Just take it easy. And on that, I'll need something over there to the left. Have something here. All right, now I'm going to clean this up. Now we're going to use the orange for the pumpkin. I'm going to clean this up because it looks like there's a little bit of old ink in there. I think I used it earlier. So I'm just, there we go. Make sure it's dry. Yeah. I'll use the orange. I'm just going to cover it up. Now, if you don't want to mess up your project, I always suggest to kind of stamp and practice first in a piece of copy paper like this, just so you kind of understand the amount of pressure you're going to apply when using your stamps, because I think that was the hardest thing I had to learn in the beginning. Am I putting enough ink? Am I putting too much ink? So using a copy paper or scratch paper just to kind of try and get yourself comfortable, it always helps me. So it might help you. You might want to try that. Okay, so here we go. Let's put it beside trick or treat. Cover it up. I'm going to leave a little bit of space in here because I might do a little bit of lettering in there later. We'll see. Just doing that. And I love using this for lettering also because it's a much bigger brush tip. And so when I have like projects that requires much bigger letters and I have bigger space, then it works. And what you can do as well is create an ombre look. See, I have the orange. Now I'm going to pull out just the red just so we can see. Pulling out the red, this is the 219. This is the deep scarlet red. And I'm just going to color in the bottom part. Okay. See what it looks like. Look at that. You have an ombre look. we'll do that again. And then we'll do yellow. Pulling out our colors in here so we can play around. And this is what I would also advise you is to play around with your supplies, you know, so see how else you can use it. This, so we have yellow and orange. Look, I don't know if you can tell if the camera is picking it up well, but we just created an ombre here. So without the mess of having to dip and stamp in the inks. Super fun. Okay, so let's finish up this card and then we'll get to creating our own lettering. Oop, now I have so much markers. Let me close them first. Okay, so I'll just stick with the orange. Just color it in. That. Here. That. Here, here, here. I can definitely do lettering in here or put the name of a person, your friend, your parents, your kids. You can use the big brush and letter the word boo in here. Like that. It's not cute. It's actually a spooky face, supposedly a spooky face. I like those wiggly eyes. But that's it. And then you can play around with the other colors. You can, you know, fill in some spaces that you feel like, okay, I can use a little bit extra in there. So just kind of use the same color marker that we use to stamp stuff and then just kind of fill it in with shapes. I love just simple circles, polka dots like this. And so just to kind of fill in those extra spaces that you have, or you can just stamp more in there, right? Okay, so that's done. So we have that treat bag, we created a card. Now let's do a coloring page. So I have this journal here. This is an sorry about that. We have an A4 size. It doesn't have to be an A4 size. I just like big because I really work in big spaces. I write big, I write big, I doodle big, so I prefer this size also, as well as the A5 size. Okay, so open up my journal like this. So like what I've mentioned, you know, it's not every day that I have a lot of time to doodle and do an illustration, but I really enjoy coloring. Like, for example, I'm watching TV or I'm just binge watching shows on Netflix and things like that. I love to color, and it doesn't have to be super complicated, but the fun way to do that is really using some stamps. And we're just going to repeat the process of what I did earlier. So this is probably too big, but for personal pleasure, I love using this big one because the more the merrier. So if you don't want to color in a lot of images, then go for the smaller journal. So like what I said, you can use any water medium with this marker as long as you give it some ample time, allow some drying time, or if you have some what do you call that? Hair dryer to kind of heat, or heat gun or heat tool, then you can use that just to kind of set the marker. Sometimes I am impatient too, and that's why I have the heat tool, because I always feel like, oh, come on, dry already. But just to avoid any accidents or anything like that, just give it enough time to dry. This is the happy skull. Are you guys excited for Halloween? I know I am. We'll do this. And I really love the small stamps because they're so cute and it's easy to hold. I have like I can grip it So easy. Sometimes when it's like a bigger stamps, I'm having difficult time holding it, and it's like always shaky, and then my lines are imperfect. It leaves me frustrated. So there we go. So we have that first part. I'll have my baby wipes in here to clean up my stamps. And then this one is so cute, but you can't really color this 5 reps, but you know, we'll add that later. Look at this cute ghost. We use the cute ghost like that. We'll just stamp away. When stamping, I like to kind of wiggle around, but not too much. You just give enough pressure, not too much pressure, just enough pressure. I don't know how to explain it, but when you practice in a piece of paper, that's when you're really going to figure out of how much pressure you have to put in when you're stamping. And because sometimes we're all different. I do have naturally heavy hands, so I try not to go crazy with the pressure because I already have heavy hands. So it's kind of like, okay, just kind of like just giving enough, not too much, but just enough so I can make a crisp impression. Let me tell you this, if I'm using an ink pad, I will be a mess. And that's no kidding because I love stamping. So, but I always end up with a lot of mess. So this one, this stamper brush, it's just so convenient, so easy. The more images, the more fun, the more we can color. Yeah. And you know, if you have the Pitt Artist pen, if you feel like if you're a perfectionist, some people like it really like perfect when they're stamping. You can go back in and then just kind of go over the lines that you feel like it's not perfect for you. You always have the option because it's going to be the same color as long as you're using the same line. And from Faber-Castell, so it's a Pitt Artist. You use the black, you can go over later and just kind of like, okay, this isn't perfect for me. Just want to go over this line. Yeah. I think I'm done with the little ghost that we have. I'm gonna go and use the treats so we can color them in different colors. I have a question. What is your favorite coloring medium? Do you like markers? Do you like crayons? Do you like watercolors? Do you like alcohol markers? I'm curious. I personally, I love colored pencils. It's not always everybody's choice because I think it takes longer if you're really going to get in there and do your blendings. But I think it's that part, the process that I really enjoy, that I have to take my time and I'm really in the moment and just being mindful and enjoying that process of coloring. And I think that's why I color, is to relax. So I'm not always in a hurry. Watercolors, yeah, colored pencils and markers. Yeah,
yeah, we have a few answers. Watercolor pencils, colored pencils, markers, alcohol pen.
Oh, I see that colored pencils.
Acrylic paint.
Oh, okay.
Lots of things.
Super fun, super duper fun. Here we go. Oh my goodness, we're almost done in this. You know what you can do also is that if you created this in a piece of copy paper, I'm going to tell you a secret. You can scan this and then print them and then have your, yourself or your children color this over and over again. Isn't that cool? So if I did this in a loose copy paper, then I can scan this and print this. And then, but you're going to lose the process of doing this. So it's like, it's a give and take. It's like, if you need a lot of copy of this one, then you always have that option. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Okay, so we're going to color in. I don't know what coloring medium I'm going to use. I really love the watercolor pencils. This, so we'll try that one. How about we do colored pencils? This is the Albrecht Durer colored pencils, watercolor pencils. There we go. It's colored pencils, but it's watercolor. See, this is like magic. Okay, and I'm gonna pick up Halloween colors. With the ghost, I will share with you how I like to color in my ghost, because usually they're translucent, you know, they're transparent. So what I like to do is get a very light blue color. So whether you're using a marker, whether you're using a colored pencil, we're just going to color in the inside of our ghost. But before I do this, I don't want to create any boo-boo. I'm just going to set the inks. Just go over this with my heat gun. And this is an awesome heat gun. Can you even hear it? It's so quiet. I mean, it's not super quiet, but it's the quietest heat gun I own. This is the Ranger, the heated craft tool, and it gets really hot, so be careful. But this is what I love to do when I know I'm going to work with some water-soluble products and I don't want to end up with any mess. I just kind of heat set those inks. All right, we're all done here. And then I'm going to put away some of the stamps, set them on the side. So what I was talking about is the ghost. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in just a little bit like this, okay? So what I like doing is you can use a very light purple, light shade of purple, or this one's kind of like a periwinkle, but this is the ultramarine 140. This is the light ultramarine. So I'm just going to go over, so follow the lines. So we're just creating a border inside. Instead of the outside, we're creating this on the inside and just going like this.
Lay, what was the name of the heat gun or the heat tool that you were using?
That is from Ranger. It is called the heated craft tool.
Great, thank you. And if you don't have a heat tool, is there anything else you recommend using?
You know what? A simple blow dryer will work really.
Thank you.
All right, and then I have my water brush in here, just cleaning my water brush. You'll see the magic of these colored pencils. So I'm just now going to go over that line that we created. I'm just blending it really. So if you're using a watercolor, just go very light. And then I'll clean it and then make sure that I don't have any more colors and just blending it in on the inside like this. So it creates this visual that the ghost is white. That's what the blue border is giving or telling your eyes. Now you can use some of the Faber-Castell, the Pit Artist pen. This one is the Ice Blue 148. It's really, really light. I'll just do this one in the marker so you can see the difference. Like this. And did you know that the Pit Artists are water-based? So if they're still wet like this, did you know that you can also blend them with water? But as soon as they dry, these are waterproof. So, but if you're using like a paper with coated paper, that means the inks will stay a little bit longer on the surface of your paper, that you'll have a little bit of time to kind of move around those colors. But the Pit Artist pens are waterproof once dry, and I love them. Okay, so that's the difference of the colored pencils and that one. Now I'm going to just get a regular colored pencil. I'm using the light phthalo blue. And I'm going to go over the inside. So we're just kind of showing you the different look that you're going to get using different coloring mediums. Now, if you're using alcohol markers, it really takes a specific paper to use. alcohol markers, because alcohol markers, they really seep in the paper. They really blend, they really bleed onto the other side also. So if you're going to use alcohol markers, keep that in mind, that they bleed. So if you're using a coloring pages that is front and back design, then know if you're going to use an alcohol ink, it's going to bleed on the other side of your paper. So it takes really a special paper for the alcohol markers. And sometimes I love using them because it's fun blending with them, but I always have issues which paper to use. And so I always just kind of stick with my water-based markers like this, and also the India ink, because I know they'll never bleed through. Okay, so we have colored pencils in here. We have watercolored pencils in here. And then we have the Pitt Artist pens in there. Now for the skull, why did I choose a skull? Now they're all white. What can I do? Well, we can use the very light purple and to color in our skull. Who said you cannot color it in? You know, what we can do is really go over here, create again that border inside of your image. So you're kind of just going over in there like that. And then use a water brush and repeat the same process. We're just going to blend everything inside. Oh, it's just super fun to see when it's like the pigments are like blending into the pages. I think that's what's the relaxing part about using watercolor mediums or water medium supplies. Then I saw one that we're asking if we use a stamp pad. No, we didn't use a stamp pad. We used the Faber-Castell, the Stamper's Big Brush. That's what we use to stamp all our images. Super fun. Okay, I'm just going to repeat the same process. But do you have any questions for me while we're going and coloring in here? We have a lot of time. Last week, we didn't have so much time because we had a very long project we created. We created Halloween themed, from sketch to line art to coloring. And this time we have really a lot of time in our hands, because do you see how fast that was to stamp all these images? And that's a whole lot. It was fast. So I'm going to go look at the chat section. If you have any questions for me, as long as it has nothing to do with math, I will try my hardest to answer them.
We do have a question. What kind of paper to use if you do want to use alcohol markers?
Okay, alcohol markers, wow. I'm using a Nina paper for that one, but even that, and it's really thick. It's 110 pound. It's Nina white. But for a journal, actually, I am using, give me some moment, I have to remember. But you can find this at Michael's. I'm going to remember it in just a little bit. And that one, it's not going to bleed through. I think you guys would love that, because that's the only notebook. Stand up. All right. Of course, I got the journal, but I can't see the brand. Oh, there you go. The Crescent. So you can get this at Michael's also. So this is the one that I use for alcohol markers. As you can see, I have it, this one where I really colored in, and you'd think it's going to bleed through. No bleed through into the other side. And these are alcohol markers that I used. So get this one from Crescent. You can get this from Michael's. Love that for alcohol markers. But when it comes to paper, the Nina white still bleeds even if it's a very thick paper. I used it before when I was doing card making, but it would still bleed onto the other side of the paper. So it's really hard. Now it's easy to create some ombre look with watercolors. So for example, this kind of skull that we have here, let's color him in differently than the rest. Here, I'm just going to shade the bottom part. So really pack the color in here, like that. And I'll show you how easy it is also to create an ombre look. So I just pulled out a darker shade of purple. This one is a 249. So I'm just gonna add a second layer in here. Here we go. And then using my water brush, I'll slowly pick up all those pigments and the colors and just start doing this. Look, I am left with a mess. Always have a paper towel when you're using water so you can clean up the mess right away. But there we have it. And then I would normally let that dry. And we can actually add more colors in there later. So for the treats, let's find some fun colors in here. I have, let's see. Okay. Let's use the same purple, maybe. I'm going to start with the orange first. This one is 115, dark cadmium orange. Just do that. And then I will color with pink. Clean your brushes. This one, I'll start with the orange and just slowly just kind of move those colors and the pigments. Let it touch the pink. And look how easy it is to create that ombre look. That was super fun. Like that. Then you can do the same thing with the other treats. We can do the orange. And then we can add yellow.
Lay, you're just using a water brush to blend those, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Just the water
Okay.
brush.
Yep.
So I'll start with the orange again, move it up like that. And then this time, I'm going to clean my brush, just dab it in my baby wipes, and I'll start moving the yellow. And then let the two colors meet. So we don't have any harsh lines. Easy. Easy breezy. And you can do that with the yellow too. Let's color in the ghost some fun color. So I'll start with the yellow here. Like this. We can add some pink. Pink and yellow will be orange. So when we mix that together, I'll start with the pink. Moving those colors in like that. And then I'll move the yellow. And then let the two colors meet in the middle and you just kind of blend them together this way. If you want more of the pink, then you kind of adjust the pink, pull those colors and pull those pigments up like that. And so we have orange already in the middle. That's perfect. Super fun. And you can play around with the colors of your ghosts as well. Then you start with this light blue. This is the, what was this? Light ultramarine. And then let's use this 151. Helio blue reddish. Oh. There we go. We don't have any bleeding from the first marker that we used, and it's not going to move even if we're using water. So I think the secret to blending and creating gradient looks like this is really patience, because before I would just kind of move around all those colors together like this. It's kind of like I don't have this clean gradient look. So as you see, when I was starting, I start with the bottom, then I move the top and just kind of let those two colors blend in the middle. And then you have this pretty gradient instead of just, sometimes it turns really messy. And okay, your question that I always get, can you mix those three colors together? Well, we know that the pink and yellow will turn orange, but we can have a deeper color of red in here. So we have this deeper shade. Let's try that. Let's play around. It's all about just playing and getting creative. So I'll start with the yellow, put the yellow on top, like that. And then I'll do the pink in the middle. Yes, that's a fun idea. Make a traveling coloring page. It's good for yourself. And then if you have kids, grandkids, it always works. And I'll do the red over here. And you couldn't see the whole. So I always start my blending. Let me clean my water brush first. I always start with the lightest if I'm going to blend three colors, right? So I'm just going to blend the yellow. Look how, my goodness, how saturated those colors are. And then I'll blend with the pink. It's super hard because we have a small image here. I'm trying my hardest to color inside the line, but it looks like my my child colored this when she was in kindergarten. And then I have the red blended in. Now, I always like to kind of dab my water brush pen because this is a water brush and it has a water inside. The water continuously flows, so I don't have to constantly wet my brush. And that's what I love using this. But to clean your brush, I just have this still wet baby wipes and I just kind of dab it to kind of clean the tip of my brush. And then I'll start blending from this dark shade this time and then move it up like this. And I don't want to get too much of that yellow, so I'm going to clean my brush again. And then move the yellow this time and then blend everything together. Just like that. And then the inside, you can choose to just kind of color it red if you like. And let me share with you another fun trick with the Albrecht Durer watercolor pencils. This is super fun. It's addicting and it really is. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Now you have a water brush here, right? Or if you just have a regular watercolor brush, as long as it's really wet, look at this one. We're going to create splatter using this direct tip-to-tip action, just getting splatters in here. Look how fun that is. Super fun. Then you have extras over here, then you can kind of like create. Don't waste the colors. Kind of use those. Create the border around that image. But as you can see, we did so much today. We just created a treat bag. We made a card. Now we made our own watercoloring. And then just learning, seeing it, the supplies in action really helps a lot because I myself, sometimes I get stuck in this creative stump and I'm like, what else can I do to, to use my supplies this way? And sometimes really, or most of the time really, what helps me is seeing others, how they use their products. And that just gives me more, it inspires me. It kind of like motivates me to keep playing and keep trying. And I think that's the goal here with Michaels and Faber-Castell, is that we want you to stay inspired. We want you to stay motivated, and also just getting ideas how to use your supplies is really, really helpful. So I know I'm happy to be here. And if you have any questions, you can always find us online, Faber-Castell USA, Michael's stores, and my handle is MommyLay. And stay in touch with me there if you have any questions regarding your Faber-Castell products. Please feel free to reach out. I would be more than happy to help out. So here we just kind of like did the red and the yellow. I just wanted to show you that if you do it too fast, look at that. Just kind of like created a mess. So just take your time, be patient with what you're doing. Now I want to create something with pink, blue, and purple. But this one would do purple already. So if you want like a deeper shade of purple, this is what we're going to add. This is our third color, because the pink and blue, they will turn purple. But so we can create like a 3D look. We're going to add a third color in there to really add more shadow and depth in our coloring. Just go over here. Then I will add my blue. And I do hope that you know that you can just use the Albrecht Durer watercolor pencils as pencils, as they are. But the fun part is really when water touches this product, that's where the magic happens.
We had another question. Is it okay if we start by putting pencil and then putting marker on the pencil?
Sorry, say that again.
So they're asking if they can start with pencil and then do marker over the pencil, I believe.
Okay, what I would normally do is I always start with the marker, just because the marker, what it does, it covers a much bigger space. And actually, that's a very good question. I would love to show that. So we have this right here, creating this. Ooh. So let's pick up our light blue. This is my favorite. So the ice blue. We're going to color in one of our ghosts. I feel like I think we also have, we created something with this technique. And if you'd like to find out, you can always go back to Michael's YouTube channel and find our past classes in there. I'm just going to grab a deeper shade of blue, but it's just colored pencil. So actually, I might get some purple. So we lay down the marker, right? If you're using alcohol marker, India ink, this will work as well. So, but the Albrecht Dürer colored pencils, these are oil-based colored pencils. This means you can actually use this first as your base and then use watercolor on top to add layers, like kind of like what we did there. If you want, that will work as well. So I have in the first base as the pit artist, and I'm just going to create shadow using this colored pencils. And so I'm not going to create like a gradient one, but we're going to create kind of like a 3D look with a very high, a light area, which is our highlight. And then we'll create a shadow so we can create a depth. I added my second color with another shade value of blue. And this time I'm going in with a deeper shade of purple I'm just going in slowly. And when I'm coloring with colored pencils, I really love working slow. And I'm doing this in circular motion. Just kind of dragging and picking up the second layer of blue that we added in there. I promise sometimes I color inside the line. In this class, it doesn't look like I know how to color inside the lines, but I promise I do. Here we go. So we're just kind of adding this darker shade. So I always go light and then add medium or another value of the first color. And then I'm going in with the medium again. So I'm just going to go pick up all those colors and we're going to burnish all these colors together. So we're really going to blend in there. So picking up all that two colors, then mixing it up. And one thing that I love about the Albrecht Durer colored pencils is that there's no wax buildup. You can just add layer and layer, and it doesn't feel like those other brands that you have a wax buildup and it's really hard to blend, you know, your colors. This one, as long as you do it gradually and just really take your time, look at that, and get in there, then you won't have any issues with blending. And also, another thing that I love, it's kind of like a shopping center, but another thing that I love is that it really keeps the point because of it stays, the sharpness stays in there much longer than the other brands that I have tried before. So we created this spooky, and then I can come back in again and add more depth if I want to. Really, that's how you do it. Start with little by little, add a light shade first in your first beginning layer and your base layer, then get another value of the same color, kind of like if you're using blue, then get a deeper shade of blue, then add a third one that is like a really deep, even though this is not blue, it's kind of like purple, but it's going to look like this. See, so of everything that we used, coloring medium that we use today, which one is your favorite? So I do really hope that you were able to learn a lot today. I know we did so much and we tackled so much. I hope I wasn't blibber blabbering too much in there. Let me just do my camera. Here we go. So I do hope that you were able to learn something. It kind of like we went through so much. It felt like I was just blibber blabbering, but I hope that you were able to pick up some techniques and discovered new fun ways to use your own supplies there at home. And like what we said, if you were creating along with us today, we'd love to see them. Please don't forget to tag us, Make It With Michaels, hashtag Make It With Michaels. Follow Faber-Castell USA. And my name is Mommy. It's always a pleasure being here with you guys, spending time with you and being creative and being crafty. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, stay creative and stay happy. Thank you.